some are just too good to be true. And those sources are their family, friends, and the internet. Like for example, here we have a user review on a laptop, or your pages review, or Facebook pages review. And if you're buying online, some would even go for the ratings or review on the page, on the online shopping page. Okay, so the main goal of marketing 4.0 is, how do we make this regular people into brand advocates, or how do we make regular people who recently purchased your product into people who would refer your products online. Okay. So according to Kotler, he devised a customer path in the connectivity era, um, which he called the 5 A's, starting from aware, appeal, ask, act, and advocate. Oops. There we go. So in contrast to the previous 4 A's, during the pre-connectivity era, customers determine their attitude toward a brand. But now in the connectivity era, appeal is influenced by the community. So social influence is important now, because people are referring brands and products. Before, loyalty means repurchase. Now, in the connectivity era, loyalty means advocating the brand. And third, the 4 A's was more of a personal path, but now it's the customers are now actively connects with one another. Okay, so here are the 5 A's, starting with aware. So in this phase, customers exposed to the brand and products, marketing, communication, words of mouth, etc., which are, there are hundreds of them out there. And the next phase would be the appeal. So not all of the brand names and products would stick to customers. So those that would those with wow factors are actually the ones that will stick to the customers, and it's also influenced by the community surrounding potential customers. And after the appeal comes ask. This is the part where the customer will do their homework, do a research on your product or your brand, asking friends, families, posting or crowdsourcing in social media, posting in forums, and reading the reviews. And they can even do this inside your store. Some people, there was an article saying some people would go to certain businesses and compare the price of your product from online sellers, where sometimes those onlines are a little lower, or there are more options online. And once convinced, and then they act. So this is the part where the customer will buy the product. So it's not limited to the purchase. It's the whole customer experience, buying the product, experiencing the product or service, and also your after sales. Then after that, if everything goes well, over time the customer will have a strong loyalty to the brand. You will notice that there will be retention, there will be repurchase from the customer, and there will be referral from other people. And at some point, just like in this picture, they would even defend your brand in case there are negative comments done. Okay, so in this path, customers may skip certain phase. Like for example, appeal may be skipped, going directly from aware to ask. Meaning, probably there was someone with a strong influence who already had experience with the product and was able to influence a certain person. Or sometimes there may be advocates without even buying the brand. Like for example, some car fans, wherein they some are just so expensive, it's difficult to buy them, but still they know that the brand is good. Okay, so next is the ozone. So the three main source of influence, according to Kotler, is own influence, others, and outer. Own is your experience from the product. So how did you feel like when you bought it, when you were using it, and after sales? And others would be information coming from friends, family, social media, and other forums. So these are usually the word of mouth. And the outer is the one that's most manageable. It comes from external sources like advertisements and other marketing communications, as well as from your how skilled your staff are, or um, how good your customer service is. So the most common advertisements in online would be Google and Facebook ads. So the ozone is a tool that helps marketers optimize their effort. So for example, if you want to focus on improving your outer influence, you can focus on marketing communication activities. If you want to focus on improving own influences, you can put emphasis on post-purchase customer experience. Or if you want to improve on other influences, you can rely on community marketing activities. Okay, so for the reflection questions, how can your brand identify and leverage the most critical touch points in customer path? So in our industry, we usually see patient repurchases, or they come back after 1 to 3 years. Usually contact lens wearers would come back in less than a year because of their disposable contact lenses. Assuming that the customer is happy, of course. And a few months ago, we did a survey. It was to check the effectivity of online Facebook campaigns that we were doing. So so the survey was done to first-time customers and they were asked how they found the place. So we found out that um, in a huge majority, the first reason was because they were referred by a friend or relative, and then at a very far second, it's just because they saw the place, and third, because they searched the highest review on Facebook and they want to give it a try. This gave us two realizations. First, despite our heavy Facebook campaign in our area, and the high post and engagement we got, there weren't enough foot count coming from the Facebook campaign, and weren't enough sales conversion. And the second thing and the good thing is that we're actually creating advocates. Before we just call them loyal customers because most customers would come back, but this is the time that we realize that our customers also refer our services to other people. Okay, so what to improve? For me, I think creating a stickier ad to create more appealing advertisement to entice customers to visit the clinics. Further improve the app phase by improving the customer service during the purchase and after purchase. Gather our loyal customers and do an video interview, to be posted in social media accounts, and encourage customers to like and review our Facebook pages and other social media platforms that they can rate and review our business. So when it comes to aware, we can do two Facebook campaigns. One targeting the youth because of their willingness to try new things, and I can probably relate to it that I would probably put my money on something that has good features. Second would be targeting women, particularly mothers, because chances are that parents with nearsightedness will also pass it on to their children. So so the products that we're gonna push for the youth would be computer eyeglasses for heavy computer users, and photochromic lenses, the one that darkens when exposed to sunlight. As for women, the enrolling their children to our myopia control program and the myopia control lenses. And also marketing collaterals will be used, especially the spaces that our partner malls offers to us. So here we go. So for the youth, we will be first using the photochromic lenses as part of our campaign, the one that changes color when exposed to light, as well as the blue control lenses, where blue light and UV doesn't pass through. There we go. And as for mothers, we will be mostly marketing this lens, the myovision lenses. It's a lens that reduces the progression of nearsightedness to children, and a general message like taking care of your family's eyesight, etc. Okay. And as for the ask phase, we will be focusing on certain websites and social media platforms that where people can do reviews and comments. Right now, we're taking care of our Facebook review, and on the middle, this is our Google. This is Google, and on the and this one is on Yelp. So this is to make sure that once a customer starts researching our brand in the internet, there are certain references that would tell about our brand. So next is the act phase. In this act, it's more of internal. We will still push through with our 7-step comprehensive eye exam. And the most important part would be the step 7, wherein we encourage our optometrists and ophthalmologists to talk to our customers, making sure that they won't go out of the examination room still have questions in their head. Okay, so, and our objective is to create the best customer experience and to make a connection to our customers. And aside from that, we're about to, we will be sending text messages, 3 parts. First is on at the time that they had their eyeglass made. It's more of a thank you message. And then a message will also be sent telling the customers that their eyeglasses are ready for pickup. And lastly, a reminder that it's time for their annual eye checkup. And we usually give a brochure stating on how to take care of your eyeglasses and contact lenses. And on the last part, it's stated there about their free vision and dry eye tests, good for 6 months. And in our social media, we usually do a campaign about our free cleaning and adjustments of spectacles to our customers. See, so as for Advocate, so we think that the actions on the act phase are aimed to make customer experience great, which could retain and increase our advocates. Okay, so how can your business? Second question is, how can your business improve brand favorability and optimize marketing effort by evaluating the 3 main sources of influence across the customer path? So, using the ozone, we will put the highest effort on owns influence, followed by the outer. And believing that whatever comes out, whatever outcome we will have in the own will influence the outcome of the others' influence. So by improving the own influence, we will be improving our process and service during the selling and the post purchase. Can be done by can also be done by training and improving the skills of our staff in selling and handling complaints. So we need to make sure that the customer experience during the purchase and after purchase will stick to the customer. And improving our outer influence, as here we will still continuously post infographics in social media that could be shared around, like for example the effect of blue light using your digital devices, or certain lenses that's anti-fog, or the do's and don'ts of contact lenses. And the Facebook campaign will still be the main marketing. Facebook campaign will be a tool to be used to target specific people like youth and the parents and other physical marketing collateral such as brochures, and taking advantage of the posting tarpaulins outside our partnered malls be done to improve outer influences. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Just some quick questions, Mark. You mentioned you
Yes,
give
Rob.
a free eye checkup for
Yes,
6
Rob.
months after they purchase.
Yes, Rob.
Yes.
It comes with the brochure. that
Okay.
we give them.
Okay. So if somebody comes up, but his last eye checkup was 7 months ago, would he be
Mhm.
given a free eye checkup?
No, Prof. You're actually putting the date in this line. So putting the until.
Okay. Um,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So
Mhm.
you're actually then requiring them to show this piece of paper when they come back for the checkup. Is that correct?
Yes, Prof. Yes,
Uh,
Prof.
because again, there's also on the screen right now free lifetime adjustment of glasses. No, so
Yes, sir. Yeah.
okay. So my immediate reaction is again, right now the benchmark is to offer things for free, uh, like again checkup, adjustment, cleaning. That's a standard way to get repeats or
Yes, sir.
periodic contact with the customers. No, so that's good, but we have to again evaluate what are the things we put as requirements for people to get them for free. No, so you
Mhm.
might want to think about the need to show again the form saying
Mhm.
they're free until 6 months after, or even the deadline of 6 months after. You might want to
Mhm.
reconsider that because again, uh,
For the adjustment, Prof.
no, even the
Ah,
free checkup after 6 months,
yeah.
you can mention that, but if they
Mhm.
come 6 months and 1 day, or 1 year or 2 years, does that make them any less of a customer, undeserving of a free checkup? I think not. No, so
Mhm.
again, it's for you to consider whether the
Mhm.
value of a cut off. Of course, there's motivation to give them a target to come back because that's the
Mhm.
medically correct thing to do. But from a
Yes, Prof.
commercial perspective, and as far as your brand being able to serve the customer, you might want to reconsider that. Again, making it as easy and as hassle-free as possible would probably
Mhm.
bring in more benefits than cost. Of course, there will be some people who will abuse that privilege, but again, overall, like the one on a, you have to return within a certain number of days, 7 days or 30 days.
Mhm.
You can be very strict on that to prevent abuse, but you'll find out over time that the people
Mhm.
who abuse are actually much less than the people who just naturally didn't have the time to remember or to go. And therefore, um, there are more benefits to possibly waiving that strict requirement from the brand perspective.
Mhm.
So, but it's
Yeah,
it's,
6 months.
it's a company decision. The other thing that stood out in your presentation, again, I'm drilling on a specific application. You mentioned trying to tap into the market of people using computers. Again,
Yes,
guys,
Prof.
Mark is with an optometric. How do you call that clinic, Mark?
Yeah, optical clinic.
Optical clinic. Um,
Yes, Prof.
and traditionally, or in the old days, it's people who had bad vision. That
Yes,
was
Prof.
the target market. But in his presentation, those who use computers will find value in in uh, in availing of their products, and that's good, no? Because you're expanding your
Mhm.
market to a greater majority of the population. So that's good. And the last thing I'd like to just comment on is the real value, especially for products like this that are not what uh, they're they're not cheap. No, you have to pay money, good saved money or extra money to be able to avail of this service. The criticality of having very good sales people who are in contact with the customer, that could spell the difference between a
Yes, Prof.
sale and a lost opportunity.
Yes,
So
Prof.
thank you for sharing and applying it to your own industry, Mark. And I hope the the thought process of finding how the theories in the book apply to you was helpful.
Yeah. Yes, Prof.
Was it
Very helpful.
very helpful, right? So
Yes,
and
Prof.
also while you were focused on this chapter while you're listening to the other COSLA presentations, I'm sure you're also trying to figure out how does this apply to me, to my work, or to me personally, so, or to you as a customer. So again, guys, uh, I hope you find the value in this exercise, because the technical side of it, how to do Facebook marketing, how to do Instagram, how to do those technical stuff, they will change very quickly over time. But the underlying marketing theory and the customer behavior behind why those are so successful will be longer lasting and more useful to you, regardless of what application you use to take advantage of those theories. So am I correct that the next one up is Peter? Mark, thank you. You can stop your share now, so Peter can come in.
April.
Yes, Peter, you're up. So we're seeing your slide. That's good. So when you're ready, Peter, you can start your time and we can go.
Okay, awesome. 1 second. Okay, so I feel ashamed to go after Mark now because his presentation was too good. Okay, so, and I realize that I have absolutely no images in my presentation, so it may just be a little bit dull. I will have to try and jazz it up with better communication. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, Peter, and we hear you loud and clear too.
Okay, perfect. So as a continuation of Mark's presentation, we take the 5 A's a little bit further and we look at productivity metrics that basically help us to identify bottlenecks that are along the customer journey. So I'd like to start with this one quote, which is, "Too often we see marketers in various industries battling out to achieve top-of-mind brand awareness, only to falter in driving customers to purchase and ultimately to advocacy." So I highlight this one. Actually, I think Mark actually kind of demonstrated partially in one of his examples earlier, is that many of us, what we do is we spend in our marketing to actually create awareness, and that generates a lot of traffic and a lot of engagement with our advertisements. However, what it actually fails to do is ultimately equate to actual real purchases and then eventually into brand advocacy. So just to give a bit of background, so metrics such as awareness and advocacy focus really on the outcome rather than the actual process itself. And brand managers and service managers don't tend to communicate kind of seamlessly these days, which kind of results in a loss of insights on how awareness converts to actual advocacy. So the question that we ask ourselves now is, how do companies make necessary interventions and increase the number of loyal advocates? So that's where we introduce productivity metrics. So Kotler describes to us kind of two concepts. So these two metrics are kind of the par and the bar, and they basically help us to follow the customer journey from aware, appeal, ask, act, and advocate, and then identify where the areas need to be addressed. So let's start with PAR, so the purchase action ratio. With the purchase action ratio, the purchase action ratio helps us to measure how good companies convert people who are aware of them into actual purchase actions. So you've got from awareness along the customer journey into how it actually equates to actual purchase actions. So the formula that we use for purchase action ratio is purchase actions actually over spontaneous awareness. For brand advocacy ratio, bar, brand advocacy ratio measures how good companies convert people who are aware of them into loyal advocates. The formula that we use for this is brand advocacy ratio. So is spontaneous advocacy over spontaneous awareness. So what does this actually look like in an example? So the example the book gives us is, imagine brand X has an audience of 100 people. And when these 100 people are looking at our product, 90 of these people actually recall our product. Then out of these 90 people, 18 of the recalling people actually make a purchase, and 9 of the recalling people actually recommend the product. Now, if we look at the purchase action ratio, we consider that the purchase action, so it was 18 purchases out of the recalling audience over the spontaneous awareness, which is 90 out of the 100. So we have 18 over 90, equating to 0.2. Now, what we have for the brand advocacy ratio is the spontaneous advocacy is, so it's 9 people recommending the product out of the 90 people that actually recall the product, and then we have a value of 0.1. Now, what color actually...
Just to butt in before you change the slide, actually, advocacy doesn't require a purchase. So the 9 people who recommend may not actually have purchased the product yet. They might aspire for it someday to be able to purchase it, but it's not necessarily that the 9 are part of the 18. Let me give an example. Supposing your dream car is a BMW and you haven't purchased it yet, but you know from friends, you know from reviews, it's something that you would recommend, but you've not actually purchased it yet. So yeah, just the thing that the advocates may not have actually purchased the product recently or ever.
Okay, yep. That should have been actually clear from the slide. So it was 9 of the recalling people. So they're aware of the product, but they haven't necessarily made the purchase itself. So, okay, yeah, just to continue, the Kotler basically explains to us, so 0.2 as a purchase action ratio may actually look good, or that, sorry, 90 people out of 100 recalling the product may look good, but actually what we find is that only 0.2 or 20% of the 90 people are actually making the purchase, meaning that 80% of the people are actually not purchasing. So exactly going back to the initial statement that what we tend to do is we invest a lot into kind of creating engagement and targeting larger audiences. But what we fail to do is actually ultimately ensure that the engagements actually equate to purchases. So how can we ensure better conversion? Well, if we have a look through the purchase action ratio cycle, so through awareness, appeal, ask, and act, So what we find is that if there is we need to analyze along the customer journey, each different segment. So if there is any low conversion between certain customer cycles, so in particular, low conversion rates between aware to appeal, this will reflect that there's low customer attraction. If there is a low conversion rate from appeal to ask, this gives us a sign that there is low customer curiosity. If there is a low conversion rate from ask to act, this indicates there's low customer commitment. And then eventually low conversion rate from act to advocate indicates low customer affinity. So the importance of this is really looking along the customer cycle to understand exactly where the low conversion rates are happening, and then to address these as the bottlenecks for customer conversion. Likewise with the bar. So with the bar, what we find is that to increase loyalty, so what we can do is, if we find that we need to focus on attraction, there are certain strategies that we can actually implement, such as repositioning the product or the service, or working on our marketing communications to create better attraction of the actual product itself. If we find that the bottleneck is really curiosity, we work on community marketing or content marketing. If there is low commitment, then we work on the channel, and we increase our channels to ensure that the product and service is actually reaching more people. And we increase our sales force to ensure we have a good sales force that's providing the necessary information about the product or service to the end customer. And to really create better affinity, that's where we start to implement loyalty programs and pay more attention to kind of customer care. So the strategies and the aim of the game is really to obtain more loyal advocates. So we can do this by improving brand awareness through more brand recall, but it is effective, but we have to be careful that it is also very costly. We can also obtain more loyal advocates by triggering customer conversations to create a multiplier effect. So similar to kind of like debt leveraging in finance, we create customers to start talking about the company or the service, to create this multiplier effect within their communities that they're discussing. But the outcome or the results of these conversations are often uncontrollable. So this could be a detriment also to the company. By improving the PAR and the bar scores through the critical touch points along the customer path, we still need some strategies where we lead on to, if we find that, again, we've identified that the bottleneck would be that we need to increase attraction, we can actually create more human-centric branding. So we start to make our brand or service more relatable to the humanistic side of our customers, understanding their humanistic needs. We can also take the strategy that we highlight either social or environmental values to relate more to our customer and create more attraction. We can also include experiential or lifestyle movements, which are relevant today, which are kind of, if you can call it, in trend. Or we can start personalizing our products and services for the customer itself. Now, if we find that what we need, the bottleneck is really through curiosity, we can generate more curiosity by actually giving out more knowledge to our customers, but without giving out too much information, so that they're attracted to the idea and curious to learn more, but we don't give away kind of our secret ingredients yet. We can also work on content marketing. And to increase commitment, we work on Omni-Channel Marketing, which is reaching through all different mediums, both online and offline, to have better engagement with our customer. And if we find that Affinity is what we need to work on, then we balance kind of high touch and high tech. So through kind of offline and online mediums as well. And we create more customer engagement to create more rapport with the customer. There's also the opportunity these days, because of new technology, that we can also introduce gamification. So in summary, and through my very wordy, lengthy slides, so the purchase action ratio and brand advocacy ratio are kind of new metrics that help us as marketers today identify the interventions where to drive customers from awareness to action and finally to advocacy. So to really find where those bottlenecks are and to take action using those strategies within those located areas. And ultimately, what we use the bar and bar for is to measure productivity of marketing activities and to help optimize marketing spend. Now, I did actually create a very quick Kahoot, and I realized that I have about 3 minutes left on the timer. There's only 3 questions. Should we try it?
Please, let's try it. So what's the pin? Game
So
ID.
I shall send that to you. Just trying to find the window now. I will just stop sharing, or maybe I can change the window that I share. Let me share. Here we go. Yes.
So yeah, just mention the game ID, Peter, and we'll be logged in.
Okay, hold on a second. I'll just stop sharing for a second, and then I will. Okay, classic. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm just pasting that into the chat now.
Okay, guys, there's a chat number 8896580.
Okay, so I only limited it to 3 questions, and we have 1 minute 30 seconds to go. So I will start it right now. So here we go. The first one should be right off the top of your head. Okay, and the next question.
I didn't see the first question, Peter.
Yeah, we
Where
didn't
is it?
see the question, but it's okay. Maybe we'll see the second
Oh.
question.
Oh, that's weird.
I'm 0.
It's all
Oh,
right.
sorry about that.
It's
Okay,
all right.
next question. A low conversion rate from appeal to ask is a sign of low customer what?
Anyway, what's happening, Peter, just so you know, is we don't see the question. I just guessed a shape, and I was right.
The choices. Well,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
the
that's
options
fine.
are not there also.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's part of the customer experience with Kahoot. And yeah, let's try to proceed with the third question, Peter. That's
Okay,
fine.
the last question is, okay, so Prof is actually in the lead.
I just guessed a shape. I didn't see.
Bar and bar are metrics to help optimize what? Sorry, it's marketing spend, and that was the first one. So I guess you didn't see the question at all.
Yeah. I think there's a problem with Kahoot. I think everybody had the same experience, right? Not seeing the question.
Yeah.
See the question.
That's the thing with digital, right? It looks perfect in the plan, perfect in technology, but again, the customer experience might be very, very different. So it's always good to have some of your team coming in as customers and also validating the customer experience. So that's a good learning for us. So thanks, Peter, for that. Originally, I was thinking that we should have 3 in a row, Gibo, coming in, but probably it's better to break right now. If everybody agrees, let's break for now. Jobel, welcome. I know you had to attend to something. During the break, everybody would break. I just give Jobel instructions on what to say when we restart the session. But I think we earned a good 10-minute break. 10-minute break. So Jobel, just hang in there. But everybody else, you can turn off your video. Gibo, you'll be up. Be ready to come on stream. You may want to start your screen share earlier, but everybody else, see you in 10. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Jobel, the question that we just was it you who had to bring your son to the hospital? Was it?
Yeah,
How
I'm
is
here
he?
in the hospital.
You're in the hospital. Okay. So
He's admitted already. He got viral infection, Prof. So we need to admit him because he's not eating anything.
okay. So but everything's okay. Everything's in control then. Yeah, that's good to know. Maybe we'll start with the after the break. Everybody was asked what was their digital experience during the holidays where a brand, a company may have an opportunity to get in contact with you or impress you or dissatisfy you during that digital experience during the holidays. No? So everybody shared something, whether it's purchasing online, booking a ticket, complaining to customer service. So we'd like to hear something from you right after the break. Is that okay?
Okay, Prof.
Okay, thanks, Jobel.
Prof.
Guys, if you're back, turn on your video. So, welcome back. To open this segment, we'll ask Jobel the same question we ask everybody. Jobel, can you share your digital experience this holiday season?
Yeah. Okay. I thought that's a requirement that I missed last meeting. So I asked around first, Melissa and other classmates via and I realized just a question thrown asked today. So last holidays actually, Prof, I stayed in the province, in Quezon province, and because of the storm, the typhoon, most of my relative, my nephews and nieces got sick. So, but prior to that, since there's limited network connection before leaving the city, I was able to redeem my Grab rewards. So that's my only digital transaction done before the Christmas break. So for the past 2 years, I'm a platinum rider. I stopped driving 2 years ago, so I was able to transact with Grab and redeem all the rewards that I've got. So yeah, it's a happy Christmas for me because of the food that I've got. So that's the only transaction that I've got. Other things I did it retail because I'm just living beside a mall. So really digital purchase or digital transactions are things that I seldom do at home.
Okay. So, Jobel, you can call Jobel a Grab advocate, right? Because she just informed 15 other people in the room that she loves Grab. Okay. Don't you miss Uber?
Yeah, of course I miss Uber. But actually, Prof, I returned to driving just this January. So I'll miss Grab soon. So I'm redeeming the remaining points this month. So yeah, I don't know if I would still be an advocate. The truth is I honestly I hate Grab, but I have no option before because I don't want to hire a driver. I don't want to drive for the past 2 years. So yeah.
Okay, so if you're not aware of it yet, traffic will be a lot worse when they close the two EDSA bridges, the Guadalupe Bridge and yeah,
Estrella Bridge, bro.
two bridges closed soon. Soon, or they're just thinking of the right excuse or the right time to do it, but there's no right time to close two bridges, I think. Okay, so as far as schedule is concerned, again, I'm holding off announcements for the class until we see Anne. So we'll have Gibo, if you're ready. You can start your share, and then after Gibo, the sequence will be Joe, then we'll break a bit, and then Archie. Okay, then hopefully we'll do the class announcements on what to do. Okay, so Gibo, if you can start your screen share. Yep, we're seeing your screen now.
Can you hear me, Prof?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. So, good afternoon, Prof, classmates. Happy New Year again.
Good afternoon.
My report is a 23-page report with a 4-minute interview video with our Senior Vice President for Product Management on Marketing Analytics. That would be my actual cost lot since I have some examples. The examples on my report is coming from various industries. So hopefully I would still have some time to play it. So I will try to shorten my report since Peter already explained well the topics. So my report is titled Buy Now, Funds Later, the Marketing Ruler. Giving you an overview on my report, we would have four line items as my point of discussion. The first one is the common metrics, the awareness and advocacy. Next is the breakthrough metrics, which is the PAR and the BAR, the purchase action ratio, and the brand advocacy ratio. Third one is the PAR and the BAR analytics creates insights and drives actions. And the fourth one is the live conversation triggers leverage towards advocacy. At a glance, we're used to the top of mind recall and loyalty as key result area or the KRA for brand marketing. But recall and loyalty may not be an enough measure of performance if would be used as standalone analytics. On the defined customer path, actually as discussed in chapter 5, the aware, appeal, ask, act, and advocate, these should all be understood and analyzed for correlation. And third, a balance of all of these items, all the standalone metrics of purchase action ratio and brand advocacy ratio should be in place with the analysis on behavior and follow-through action as intervention. In the essence, the PAR and the BAR allow marketers to measure the productivity of the marketing activities. I assume we will all agree that brand awareness is really one of the most important, if not the most important piece of customer path. Sometimes so much investment are being allocated to this just to have a product be the most popular. But the sad next phase is marketers just wait for the result. And then the top of mind recall is crucial. Brand awareness even tap the services of research companies to make some analytics on how effective their marketing is. Locally, we have the AGB Nielsen and the Kantar that provides these services. This was also cited on the Facebook blueprint. The other key metrics that marketers drive is the advocacy or satisfaction and loyalty. It is tracked by service managers for Net Promoter Score, NPS analysis, an indicator of customer willingness to recommend a product or services to others. This metric may be in the form of surveys, reviews, and most common are the customer feedback that we often see in the likes of Amazon. And advocacy equals to the force or maybe equivalent to being a force multiplier of marketers. Ultimate goal on this end is to reach a high number of customers who are willing to advocate for their brands. But lessons learned from this two main metric of brand awareness and advocacy is they should not be in silo. Brand managers and service managers that do not have dynamic collaboration will often fail to see the correlation between awareness and advocacy data, missing the opportunity to capitalize the information. Weakness that was seen from the companies that fail even with a good start on brand awareness and advocacy is they focus on the outcome. This was already discussed by Peter. Their respective lag metric instead of the process to understand the trend and behavior. So imagine in a boardroom wherein marketing people and service people respectively reports good performance, but the higher objective or the higher KPI of sales and advocacy is actually dipping. So basically, brand awareness and advocacy should complement each other. Now, let's be a little technical. From just measuring the brand awareness and advocacy, a brand should measure as well the performance correlation across the 5 customer paths, the 5 A's. First is the PAR or the purchase action ratio. It measures how well companies convert brand awareness into brand purchase. So the formula here is, as already discussed, is the act or the purchase action over the people that is aware of the product. The other one is the BAR, or the brand awareness ratio, wherein it measures how good companies convert brand awareness into brand advocacy. The formula is the number of people who is advocating for the product over the number of people who is aware. So as Prof mentioned earlier, this doesn't have to be necessarily the people who bought the product, but basically those people that recommends the product.
Oh, sorry, Gibo, can you just go back? I just wanted to emphasize on what is a definition of spontaneous. So, for instance, if you're asking what car brands do you know, so it's spontaneous because it's not giving choices. No, so from recall or from what the customer will remember, that's spontaneous. And then spontaneous advocacy is what car brands would you recommend? No, so again, it's not from a checklist, it's not from a multiple choice, it's top of mind answers of what would you recommend. Okay, so just to emphasize the word spontaneous. Yeah, back to you, Gibo.
Okay, so applying the formula with the example from the book, say a population of 100 people in the market, brand X is spontaneously recalled, just mentioned by Prof on the exact definition, recalled by 90 people, but out of the 90, only 18 people end up buying the brand, and only 9 spontaneously recommend the brand. So the process may seem performing as we have the brand awareness ratio of 0.9, but the 0.9 awareness ratio fails to convert its 80% to sales. So it's not actually the result that the brand desires. The PAR and the BAR ratio have an analogy for return of equity in that of finance industry. ROE measures financial health, how much profit from shareholder investment, and it also tracks productivity of shareholders' money. So in equivalent, the PAR and the BAR measures productivity after investment from brand awareness and service. Then with that said, it is the return of the marketing investment that better measures the PAR and the BAR. So the return on marketing investment is the contribution to profit attributable to marketing divided by the marketing investment or risk. But ROMI or ROMI is not like the other return on investment metrics because marketing is not the same kind of investment. So let's go technical again by understanding more the PAR and the BAR, but this time on the perspective of interrelationship analysis across the customer path. This actually helps marketers plan their spending through a better forecasting. This is the correlation approach on appreciation of this customer path. From the book, brand X wishes to spend more to increase its brand awareness by 1%, but historically, from previous study, brand X knows that its PAR value is 0.5. This means that half of brand X is being wasted in the process of generating market share. Considering all the other factors are equal, brand X may expect to have a market share increase of 0.5. Although this is just an estimation, but it helps marketers to plan their spending more accountably. So maybe marketers can do some interpolation on how to do this. Then when with the decomposing approach, marketers should measure every conversion across the customer path and treat the result as a leading indicator. All the conversions should be taken into consideration and be understood that for some reason may require necessary intervention to be on track for an eventual purchase and advocacy. First is the low conversion from aware to appeal. Low aware to appeal means low customer attraction that may have stemmed from poor positioning or poor marketing communications execution. it is simply that customer doesn't like the brand based from perception. Then the appeal to us, a low conversion of appeal to us. Who cares, Jackie Chan said. It's more on low customer curiosity. This usually stems from a company's inability to trigger conversation and facilitate information sharing among customers. Even though you releases and ads, but no one dares to research on it, it's a sign of low customer curiosity. Then low conversion from ask to act signifies low commitment. The customer may ask, the customer may reach out or may research, but the commit to buy is very low. It usually means that the brand has failed to confirm interest into purchase throughout its distribution channel. And then the last one on the customer path is the low conversion from act to advocacy. It's a sign of low affinity. The low conversion rate may be a result of poor post-sale service or poor product performance. The critical aspect of this low conversion is all the records, all the feedbacks is readily available to potential customers. So they might for those people that is considering to buy a certain product, but then again they see the reviews, it may already give them some insights that it's not a good product, so it's not a good decision to purchase. And marketers must also identify low conversion rate across the 5 A's for intervention to reach full potential. As also already discussed, a low attraction may require repositioning, or as example from the book, marketing communication must be improved based from to improve the awareness. Then low curiosity may need some revamp on content marketing, which we will discuss a little later and can be expounded again in chapter 9. And low commitment, the channel management must be improved. The sales force management must be improved. It may be sales force management may means that the competency of all the people working across the path must be enhanced. All the people must have the capability to close a sale even at the awareness phase. And affinity, to improve that, loyalty program may be introduced, customer care may be enhanced. Basically, it's improving the customer experience overall. In driving up productivity as well, engaging customers in live conversation allows a brand to create compelling insights that drive products and marketing efforts. With all the understanding of the customer path, the behavior, the translation and correlation, it all boils down to productivity. While so it may come in different form of conversation, but it should be managed to prevent going unfavorable. To cite an example, any brand that goes viral over Facebook may seem to have driven a good leverage of awareness. Brand that have resulted to establishment of Facebook group is another example. There's, to cite an example, there are club for certain brand of bikes, certain brand of cars, and there's also club for watches. So everything and all these conversation, and all these actions drives conversations on almost daily basis with lots of feeds. Again, for driving up productivity, an alternative approach is to create more advocates on all the critical touch points across the 5 A's. Cutler mentions 4. The first one is to increase attraction, optimize curiosity, increase commitment, and increase affinity. In increasing attraction, it should be, the brand should have a human-centric. It should be human-centric, should have a strong social and environmental values, must represent certain lifestyle, personalized products, and even be unorthodox and be bold and audacious. We all know Lego. Not so long ago, they introduced this initiative to launch the Lego ideas, wherein hobbyists or a fan can design and volunteer his creation, and then the Lego management team would decide if they would be putting it into mass production. One thing that made this, the one thing that I made this as an example is because this made a strong social implication to Filipinos, because the creator is a Filipino, and Voltron being an icon character in the 80s really creates an increased attraction on toy enthusiasts. Next is to optimize curiosity. I won't be expounding this too much since already discussed. And again, this would be expounded in chapter 9. But to itemize, content marketing is one initiative that will support driving the productivity. Just one example, if you would be searching on YouTube for Nestle, you would be seeing they have made a lots of content marketing video that shows Filipino values, but then at the end, you would realize that they're advertising a certain product that may have the same values as the topic on their video. Content ideation and creation process, it's more on ideating unique themes relevant to customers and connected to the brands. Then distribution and amplification. I have cited two examples since I just realized that these personnel are key influencers that may amplify a certain product or brand. Chito Miranda of Parokya ni Edgar, if you would be, because he's a friend, if you would be checking on his Facebook profile, you would be seeing that he's in a subtle way advertising a lots of products that we don't know if he's paid or not, but basically it's catching a lots of attention. And James Deakin, that for quite some time you would realize that his Facebook page is not actually personal but more of a commercial with all of those presumed paid advertisements. And of course, all of this information should be readily available when as Google called it, the ZMOT, or the Google Zero Moment of Truth, that once it catches your attention, it should be readily searchable and shareable. Increased commitment, the Omni-Marketing is another option, integrating online and offline. But basically, increasing commitment, to summarize all these three, is improving the customer experience from the start up to the awareness, and then ending at the advocacy. It's basically enhancing the capability of all the people working across this customer path and have the same capability to close a sales, not just merely selling, but also advocating a certain, let's say, they know what they're talking about in terms of service, in terms of sales. It's actually more on cross-functional. Then the fourth one for driving up productivity is to increase affinity. Marketers should extend touch points beyond purchase, allow more interactions with the customers. Gamification. Maybe some of us have played or have once in their previous experiences on mobile, who played the Pokemon Go. Please encourage engagement on certain customer behavior, subconsciously build engagement that are enjoyable for customers. And last, we all know this, the Starbucks have this program to reward its most loyal clients by by the planner, wherein you have to collect and increase of transactions and improve their status. My last page is my actual cost lot, the way how Asurion actually utilize this information in Touchpoint. So this would just be a 4-minute video, so I hope it won't get you bored. But this would be very quick.
Ivo, we can barely hear it.
Yes, Prof?
Sorry, the audio is not clear. Is this something available on the web? Can you share the link to this so we can watch it separately? Or is it...
It's not available, Prof, because it came from our intranet.
Ah, okay. Okay, but the audio is not coming out clear. Can you try again? Can you try again? We'll see if it's no. We need the audio to be clear.
Okay, Prof. How about that, Prof?
No, it's not coming out. Anyway, that's fine, Gibo. We'll have to shift to the next reporter. But noted that no, we'll try to figure it out how we can share this with the audio coming out clear. Thank you.
But
Thank you.
This guy only discusses how all those data across the customer path are being utilized and how interventions are being planned.
Okay. Thank you, Gibo. Gibo, can you just go back with some of your slides? I'll just comment quickly. The one with the ratios. Oh, okay. That's it. No, yeah, okay. So guys, imagine this. Now, when we started the course, 6 meetings ago, it's like all of us trying to learn baseball. No? So you're familiar with the game, right? You watch it on TV. But when we started it, we knew how to play, but how to score and how to win was something that is probably not familiar with us. No, the reason why we need a structure for digital marketing is, and that's why we use Cutler, is he presents a very simple structure that is actionable. Okay, so in this slide you will see the 5 phases, the 5 stages from appeal, from awareness to advocacy. These are the 5 stages for the customer, and the 4 gaps that you can address with specific action. So if the gap is attraction, if the gap is affinity, there are default programs that you don't need to think about. They're there. To address affinity, you should do a loyalty program or customer care. So having that structure, that mental backbone, allows us then to choose which particular applications or programs or strategies will work best given this different strategic intervention. So if you go back, so for instance, appeal over awareness, if the attraction is low, can you go back a couple of slides, the one with 0%? Yeah, okay. So if it's low attraction, supposing you offer 0% interest and there's no attraction, or there's very low attraction, maybe there's something, maybe you need to change that communication because it's not appealing anymore. It's not getting the right amount of appeal despite the fact that many people are seeing the advertisement. So that's the beauty of this structure that we're learning, and as you find out later in the later chapters, we'll know the optimum ratios to watch for and to act on if they're not at the optimum. So I just wanted to mention that it's a very, very simple structure, but once you're familiar with it, it's very actionable in real life. Okay, so thanks, Peter, for this report, and again, it complements what Gibo, thank you for this, and it complements what Peter has already discussed. So up to this chapter, guys, you'll notice that there were two members of the class who tackled each chapter. Moving forward, starting with Joe and then Archie, it's just one person tackling each chapter. So the chapters are shorter and probably less coverage than the first 6, but will depend on, again, on our classmates to bring out the best parts of it, and also how these are seen in real life. No? So thank you again, Gibo. Can you stop your share, and can I request Jo to start her screen share?
Hey, Prof. I forgot to share a while ago that one digital practice I did during the holidays pala was to create this video, animated video for this presentation today. I just hope that the volume would work because it sounds a bit too low. So we'll see.
Okay.
How do I? Why is not sharing? Is it sharing my screen now?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Let me see.
Yes, we're seeing your screen right now by Movely. And your sound is clear.
All right.
Jo, is there a sound accompanying it? Because we're not hearing any sound.
Wala ring sounds, Prof. Let me check.
Your voice is clear, but the video sound we don't hear.
Let's try that again. Does it work now?
Still no sound, but perhaps if you can just
would learn and understand the four major industry
now there's sound.
About the challenges in three archetypes and best practices in digital marketing. In this presentation, we would learn and understand the four major industry archetypes, learn about the challenges and opportunities of each archetype, and draw insights on how to win a specific industry by comparing the brand advocacy ratio statistics. Before we define each industry archetype, let's have a quick review of the customer path to purchase. According to Marketing 4.0, the new customer path in the digital economy consists of 5 A's, namely aware, appeal, ask, act, and advocate. These are the stages or touch points that the customer passes through during the purchasing process. The concept of Marketing 4.0 aims to drive customers from awareness to advocacy. In reality, customer paths are very complex due to the differences in the industry, geography, market size, and other factors. To simplify this, we derive patterns from the 5 A's framework to define several key industry archetypes. In the previous chapter, it was discussed that the conversion rate from aware to appeal is called customer attraction, driven by the brand's positioning and marketing communications execution. The conversion rate from appeal to ask is the curiosity level, or the ability to trigger conversation and sharing of information among customers. When customers move from ask to act, they confirm interest into purchase. High commitment level is our goal in marketing. Commitment levels are dependent on each brand's marketing mix, or 4 Ps. Lastly, for continuous sales growth, we aim to have a high affinity level, or the conversion rate from act to advocate. The key to success in this conversion is good and consistent post-sale service or product performance. Purchase Action Ratio, or PAR, is a measurement of how well companies convert brand awareness into brand purchase, while BAR, or the Brand Advocacy Ratio, measures how good companies convert brand awareness into brand advocacy. Now let's learn about the different patterns for industry archetype. The first and most common archetype is the doorknob. The most distinctive feature of the doorknob pattern is high commitment despite the low curiosity level. Customers do not spend time to research and evaluate options, usually because of low prices, frequent purchases, and preferences from past experience. Customers have prior expectation and preferences. They have low attachment toward brands, with many of them not willing to recommend a specific brand. A well-known industry with a doorknob customer path is consumer packaged goods. This category is highly fragmented with a large number of brands competing for millions of customers. Due to its industry characteristics, products under the doorknob category are dependent on aggressive branding and marketing communications and promotions. Availability at the point of purchase is also often a key deciding factor. Although customers may not be attracted to a brand, they may end up buying the brand simply because it is the only one available at the point of purchase. Brand switching is very common in this category. Therefore, many brands attempt to build customer engagement and improve customer loyalty through the use of loyalty cards and easier payment options. The next pattern or archetype is the goldfish. The most distinguishing feature of the goldfish pattern is a high curiosity level. This pattern is mostly found in business-to-business contexts. Customers go through lengthy and thorough evaluation of alternatives or options before buying. This decision is usually driven by the involvement of multiple stakeholders. In the business-to-business context, an example of this pattern would be in the automotive manufacturing. Materials, parts, and services are offered by a number of suppliers with rarely any differentiation. Therefore, the automotive manufacturing company would usually spend more time to evaluate benefit and cost comparisons of alternatives to find the best offering. An example of the goldfish pattern in the business-to-consumer market is in the highly commoditized travel industry, where competing players typically offer similar services or bundled solutions. In most cases, the deciding factor for the goldfish industry archetype is strong customer intimacy. The third industry archetype is the trumpet. The most distinguishing feature of the trumpet pattern is its high affinity levels. People who follow this pattern typically trust the quality of the category brands, hence are willing to advocate brands even if they do not buy or use them at all. Customers are highly involved in purchase decision and have confidence in brand quality. Because most brands have their reputable image from quality association, evaluation process is relatively easy. And this quality association is strongly influenced by word of mouth. The trumpet pattern is found mostly in lifestyle categories such as luxury watches, designer bags, and cars. Due to the very high price points involved, there are fans who aspire but cannot afford to buy these brands, yet advocates for them. Most brands in this category are very niched. Although most CPG categories fall into the doorknob pattern, over-the-counter drugs typically fall into the trumpet pattern, since non-buyers are willing to recommend trusted brands even though they're not currently using those brands. Key factors in the trumpet pattern are affordability and accessibility. The fourth industry archetype is the funnel. In comparison to the previous patterns, in the funnel category, customers go through each stage of the customer path. Thus, purchases are mostly planned, where customers trust real experience and not claims. Customers may drop brands from their consideration sets anywhere across the customer path if they find the experience unsatisfactory. The funnel pattern is mostly observed in consumer durables and service industry. Competing brands can easily be compared, and the diminishing quality of customer experience over time may prompt customers to consider other brands. Therefore, Key factors in the funnel category are managing multiple touchpoints and focusing on both incremental improvements and customer experience innovations. So far, we have discussed the four major industry archetypes, namely doorknob, a pattern observed in consumer packaged goods such as food and beverages and toiletries. Goldfish pattern, observed in business-to-business markets and in the travel industry. Trumpet pattern, seen in lifestyle categories such as luxury cars and designer items or over-the-counter drugs. Lastly, the funnel pattern observed in consumer durables and service industry such as telecommunications. Each of the four major patterns of customer path has inherent strengths and shortcomings. If we combine all positive strengths of the four major patterns, we will have an ideal customer path pattern called the bow tie. The bow tie pattern reflects the key traits of a perfect brand. In this category, everyone who is aware of a brand is willing to recommend a brand because of its stellar reputation. This means that the brand accomplishes a perfect bar score of 1. Moreover, the brand appeal is so strong that everyone who is attracted to the brand ends up buying it. Not everyone who is attracted to the brand feels the need to research further, reflecting a clear positioning and the right level of curiosity. Brands with doorknob, goldfish, trumpet, and funnel customer path patterns should strive to obtain this perfect bow tie pattern. Superimposing the bow tie on each pattern will reveal gaps and opportunities for improvement. Brands with a doorknob customer path may improve their affinity level by building post-purchase engagement programs such as loyalty reward systems. Brands with a trumpet pattern may improve commitment level by improving affordability and channel accessibility without diluting the brand's appeal. Brands with a funnel pattern, on the other hand, should improve both their commitment and affinity levels by managing multiple touchpoints and focusing on both incremental improvements and customer experience innovations. There is a challenge to balance sales and after-sales service. But the hardest work needs to be done by brands with the goldfish customer path pattern. They need not only to improve their commitment and affinity levels, but to optimize their curiosity level. Marketers in B2B sectors face this tough challenge because they deal with generally savvy customers, thus the need to develop strong customer intimacy. Remember that brand advocacy ratio represents the customer's willingness to recommend a brand. In an industry with a low bar median, customers are unwilling to recommend competing brands. Thus, word of mouth and social media marketing doesn't work. In industries with high bar median, customers will recommend one or more brands. Thus, word of mouth and social media marketing is effective. The bar range, or the gap between the highest and lowest bar in an industry, also reveals interesting insights. A wide bar range reflects word-of-mouth dominance, whereas leading brands have strong brand reputation, making pull marketing approach effective for them. A narrow bar range reflects tight competition without bar dominance, where push marketing approach is often effective. Using bar, median, and bar range as axes, we may derive another four major industry groupings. In industries with high bar median and wide bar range, customers are generally willing to recommend several leading brands. In this group, the key success factor is brand management, developing sound positioning and executing it through marketing communications. For example, Procter & Gamble. In industries with a high bar median but narrow bar range, customers are generally willing to recommend certain brands even though there is no player with a dominating bar score. The key success factors are channel management, developing omni-channel presence, and driving customers to buy, just like Amazon. In industries where the bar is low but the bar range is wide, customers do not generally recommend brands, although they sometimes advocate leading brands. Customer experience is often polarizing with equal numbers of happy and frustrated customers. Their key success factor is service management, just like in the airline industry. The final group of industries has low bar median and narrow bar range. In these industries, competition is tight and customers are generally unwilling to recommend competing brands. Competing brands have to work hard to push their products and services to the market. Hence, the key success factor is sales force management, managing productive salespeople and driving the right sales activities. Marketers need to keep an eye on the shifts in their industries and adapt strategies for disruptive innovations and technological convergence. To summarize, we have discussed the four major industry archetypes, namely doorknob, goldfish, trumpet, and funnel, with an ideal fifth pattern, the bow tie. We also define the challenges in each pattern's customer path and their corresponding areas for improvement. By analyzing bar statistics, we also identified four different industry groups, each representing a set of marketing best practice, namely brand management, channel management, service management, and sales management. Thank you for watching.
All right. Hello?
Yes, you're clear.
Yeah.
Joe.
So for business application in our company, can you see the screen with the picture?
Yes.
Yeah. So JSA is a service provider for grounds maintenance. So basically, we fall under the funnel archetype, where it is critical for us to manage multiple touch points from all the A's, especially from the commitment and affinity areas. So it is a challenge for us to address our customers' existing and unforeseen needs. While innovating also, it is also critical for us to be consistent. I think the key for service industries is consistency also, because even if they're very innovative, if after sales service is not consistent, or it's not, all the touch points are not consistent with each other, there is a tendency for customers to just drop off the brand. And if we would look into the four different best practices, we would fall under brand management because of having a clear positioning, which is highly attractive to customers for us to be successful in the industry. But that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Guys, I think everybody would agree that, and let's show it. Can we give Joe a round of applause for an excellent COSLA presentation? If there's a benchmark, a new standard that can be set, it's this. I think I understood more from the video than from reading the chapter 10 times already. Do you agree that you probably had a new understanding of the chapter from watching the video? So well done, Joe. Just some curiosity questions. The video was about 15 minutes long. How long did it take you to make that 15-minute video?
Probably a week.
Okay.
More or less.
No, but in terms of hours, Joe, so we know the conversion ratio. If you put in like the hours that was put in actually doing the work, just give us an idea.
I think I spent 2 whole days for at least 3/4 of it, or 3/4 of it, and then a few hours a day, like 1 to 2 hours a day for the first part.
Okay, so will it be fair to say maybe like 16 hours to make a 15-minute video of that quality? Would that be fair?
I guess so, yeah. If the script and the sequence is already ready by the start of the video, that's where I had the hard time, because I was reading the book while I was doing the video. So it took time for me. But when I realized I should read the book first and then just prepare the script and then follow the sequence, it was faster. I was able to do it faster.
So it was clean and straightforward only because you were actually had prepared the script, right? It was not
Yeah.
spontaneous. It was not, oh, I see the slide and what do I say about it, right?
That's actually the reason why I did this video, because I have this tendency to black out every time there's a presentation. So I might miss out on important things. So if it's a video already recorded and there's the important items that should be said, it would be there.
Okay. And again, just out of curiosity, Joe, Moodly is an app that is from a computer program that you have to buy, or is it free, or?
No, Prof, it's online.
It's online.
Yeah.
And you can download the video that you made as your copy.
Yes, it's published, but I think you have to pay for it to remove the watermark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, again, I'm sure if Jo wants to earn money from her 2 days of work, she can try to send a copy of the video to Cutler and say, hey, you want to make a promotional video of your book? Here's 6 hours of my work. Pay me what, $2,000, Jo? But it's really, really well made. And again, the beauty of it is we know the conversion. So come to mind, we all would want to make something like that. But I'm sure most of us would say, and I will include myself, it will take me 1 hour for every minute to make a video, because that's our conversion ratio, right? 16 hours to make 15 minutes of video. If it was for a company that I owned or a brand that I owned, maybe it's worth the effort. Or if I can ask my staff or my team to do it, then probably it's worth it. So it just shows the potential of what can be done if you prepare for it and you're willing to do the hard work and the investment of time and money to do it. But it's way, way over and above what we require for a class, guys. So don't be afraid that that's a requirement for us. But again, well done, Joe. We appreciate the time you put in. And it actually clearly showed in the execution of it. And I would dare you to actually try to contact Cutler and offer the video for sale as a promotional video for their book. And I'm sure they would find great value in it. Okay. So what else? I see Anne has joined us. She raised her hand. Anne, are you there?
I did join already.
Yeah, I see you, Anne, now. Okay. Welcome, Anne. So again, thanks, guys. I see the high professionalism of this class. Everybody saying if there's something that came up and just giving me a heads up. And it's a good thing because I know how to plan the announcements and space the sequence of the class to provide maximum benefit for all. So are we complete right now, or are we missing some people from earlier? There's 17. Oh, geez. Am I missing a slide? Who am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Yeah, everybody's complete. So let me just take a quick class picture for today. So if you want to turn on your video, that would be great. Yeah, Saul has just turned on his video. And Saul, you actually look like your picture. So there seemed to be no change. Once you turn on the video and the picture, it was exactly like you. So anyway, give me this chance just to record this. Class, what did I press? Okay, let me just, okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, I'm just cutting and pasting right now. Okay, save as. Let me just save as. File. Save as. Digital marketing. So before we shift to Archie, maybe it's a good time to break and discuss what's happening moving forward. So let me just share my screen. So now Archie, if you see the Excel screen, Archie is up. We'll finish with chapter 8. And then after that, there are 4 more of you to complete the entire COSLA discussions. And again, I appreciate everybody's work to their own COSLA presentations. I think it actually allows you to share your own personal insights and applications to the rest of the class. And again, for most of you, this is the first time you're actually doing a live online discussion. So very good experience, and I'm sure many of you will find real applications of this beyond this class. That's why I advocate Zoom more than the Blackboard, because Blackboard is more proprietary. There's less access and future applications for it as compared to Zoom. So anyway, so we have 4 more or 5 more of you left to do COSA reports. The schedule is pretty straightforward. We're now on Jan 5. We didn't have a resource speaker today. We will have 3 next week. So aside from the 4 who are up to discuss their courses next week, we will have 2 live interviews, one with Peter's guest from Shopee, one with Jonathan Hawson. I'll try to find a better execution of the mobile marketing interview that was done. So everything happening on next week, January 12. Your reflection questions will be on 10, 11, 12. If you're wondering what 12 is actually the epilogue, okay, that Romel will discuss. So I'll change this now. I'll just convert it to epilogue. And again, I'll share the latest file for you of this later. So it's reactions to the epilogue. There's an additional requirement to LinkedIn. No? Very recently, I've had a change of, because of all these privacy concerns, I've had a change of paradigms as far as LinkedIn is concerned. We do want to be present in LinkedIn as a way for people, for professionals to contact us, whether it's people we know or people who need our expertise. Let me just quickly bring you to a site where I ask you to post your LinkedIn profiles. So it's on Facebook, and it's called Primus Inter. Okay, so this is a site of where I asked every member of my class to put their LinkedIn profiles. So recently, I changed the privacy setting from public to closed, okay, because of privacy concerns. To be able to post here, you have to request to join. So pending joining is Romel, Sol, Binoy, and Mark. I'll approve you now. So again, it's Primus Inter Pares Online. Ateneo people try to search for it now, and then just try to ask the group. No, so if you look again at the page, these are all people who have been part of the class. And by the way, the reason you're V77, if I haven't mentioned it, is because you're my 77th class since I started teaching 24 years ago, or 25 years ago. This is my 25th year of teaching. No? So I average 3 classes a year. or one class a trimester. So the logic for this is, again, just as an exercise for you to post your LinkedIn profile. So this is Gibo's profile, because he was my student before. No? So these were his classmates posting their LinkedIn profile. I'll change the standard a bit as far as given the current situation, what should appear on the LinkedIn profile. Let me just scroll down. So this was from my previous digital marketing class in also here in Ateneo. So generally, when you post, I look for a couple of things. Here, if you look at this link, it's personalized. Okay, this is a personalized link versus this, which is not personalized. It's the randomly generated link from LinkedIn. So there's a way to personalize it. Click on help, and LinkedIn will guide you on how to do it. Let me just scroll down to my profile example. Okay, when you post it, what I'll also look is what we call an elevator speech. No? So an elevator speech is defined as what you will say to a person who will ask you, what do you do? And the context is he asks you when you ride together in an elevator, and therefore you have like 10 or 15 seconds to discuss and answer, what do you do? Okay, so it should be brief. It should be appealing to enough to invoke curiosity to further discuss your answer. So it should not be a very long answer, but it should, again, be interesting enough to continue the conversation. Okay, so as far as how your LinkedIn profile should look, it used to be that LinkedIn would post the picture, when you post your link, but they adjusted something, so I'm not seeing the pictures right now. So let me just demonstrate to you the importance of a LinkedIn profile. No? So I'll open a new tab. Supposing somebody asks, can I trust this person? And they don't know me from Adam. They just want to see a review or a comment. Who is this person? Should I do business with him? And of course, the first one they'll ask, they don't know anyone, is they'll do a Google search. Okay? So what do you notice? The first or the top result in a Google search is a LinkedIn profile. Okay? And that's because I take care of my LinkedIn profile. If you notice, I'll just make this a little larger. Okay, so the LinkedIn profile is personalized. It will tell the world what I want them to see about me professionally. So I am in full control of what appears on the LinkedIn profile. Actually, I'm surprised that right now this is higher than my official Ateneo profile in the Ateneo website. Normally, Google has this algorithm where it ranks specific items about your web link, and an edu web link normally scores a lot of points because it's credible. But see how important the LinkedIn profile will be, again, if somebody wants to find out more about you on a professional level. Now, also, you will see that this is my website, the one I pay, $20 a year to keep. So it's my first website, so I still keep it, but it's way still below the LinkedIn profile. No? So again, as a part of your digital learning and your digital experience, for this class, you will have to make a LinkedIn profile with a personalized name, and then I'll just click on here. So what are the requirements for your LinkedIn profile? So just use this as a standard, and maybe if you wanted to review what we discussed, I'll post the recording of this Zoom meeting within the day. As soon as it's converted to a video, I'll post the link on our Facebook page. But what am I looking for? For number one, you should put a recent, smiling, colored solo picture that you would post on a resume that you would send to somebody if you wanted to be recognized as a professional. So no pictures where you have somebody in the background or a cut out from a background with other people, or a background that's not professional. No? So that's one, because that's how people will see you. Second, this is my elevator speech. If people will ask me, what do you do? So this is what I will say. You can also convert the background so that there's a background to it. So, and this is really from the Ateneo. This is, now I forget. St. Ignatius. About service. So this is from the Ateneo site. So I'm not concerned on copyright issues because I'm doing this for the Ateneo anyway. But you can put your own how do you call this, cover photo to it. So key requirements are, again, a personalized link, a recent solo colored professional picture, an elevator speech, and then a quick rundown of the most relevant job experience that you had, you currently have or used to have. Okay, so that's what you can put. And then also, what's good is if you can put logos of the companies you've been associated with. Sometimes it appears automatically, sometimes it's not. For instance, here in Moldex, I even put a video when I was with Moldex, when I was interviewed in GMA. So you can click on the link there, etc. No? And then of the schools you were there, you've been associated with. Another key thing that makes a LinkedIn profile strong and appearing in Google searches is if there are recommendations about your work. No? So whether it's peers, it's superiors, it's customers, you can actually ask for recommendations from friends or associates so that they can vouch for what you do. No, it actually adds up to the Google algorithm score if it's not just you telling what you are about. Okay. So basically, that's what I'm looking for. Some of you have had LinkedIn profiles before, so it's just maybe reformatting it to conform to these requirements. I haven't updated this in a while for a lot of reasons, but again, it's not. No, it's something that if somebody wanted to find out if I can be of value to them as far as my expertise is concerned, this has actually resulted in a couple of consulting engagements from people I don't know. And I'm sure they found out about me more from LinkedIn than from word of mouth. So again, something worthwhile to do. You will need to post it again where? On here, on Primus Inter Pares, and on our Facebook page. Okay, and on our Facebook page. So you know you're doing it right if you're coming out like this, no? If the result is something like that. Okay. Now, why am I requesting you to post it here? Well, here there's value in knowing that in case you need one of the advantages of, or one of the benefits of the MBA is not just the knowledge, but it's also the network of people you can work with in the future. No? So because everybody here has been in my class before, whether it's marketing or digital marketing, if you need somebody, say, oh, somebody I know working in BPI or working with a BPO or working in a company, you can actually, let me see if the feature is still here. If I go up here, is there a search button? Search within Primos. Okay. Oh, it's not here. Enter members. So here, if you wanted to immediately contact a finance professional, a doctor, Cell is runs a what? How do you call it? A dialysis clinic that she owns, etc. No? So a lot of people are immediately part of your network, and I think there's over, I forget, how many members do we have? 332. Okay? So by being part of it, one, you get access to the network, and second, you are part of the network and may benefit from it in the future. Okay. Now, obviously, some of you will have some privacy concerns who doesn't want to share, for some valid reason or another, their actual work. And again, we respect that. So if that applies to you, then you can make an alias LinkedIn profile. So it's not your real name, it's not your real picture, it's just for the exercise. And as long as you tell me, hey guys, this is me doing the exercise, then that's fine with us also. All right, so I've been talking for a bit about the LinkedIn requirement. Let me just, was I sharing?
Yes, Prof.
I suddenly became conscious if I was sharing my screen and no one was giving me heads up. So you saw everything I was sharing on Primus, right?
Yes.
Yes, bro. We're able to see it.
Yeah, okay. So I think that live, because I did have previous versions of what to do on LinkedIn, and I'll share the link with you. The main difference right now is now I don't see the requirement of having a lot of description on what you did for certain work. Okay, if you want to just put the position and the company, that's fine. But if there's value to you in having a little more detail to it, that's fine as well. Okay, so having details like this now optional as far as the LinkedIn profile is concerned, and even putting everything. No? So for me, if I will modify this, I'll probably take out a lot of my initial work when I finished work, because right now they're no longer as relevant, given that I've been working for 3 decades already. Maybe the first decade or the first half of my career is no longer as relevant, no? As relevant to any person trying to contact me professionally. Okay, so let me just stop my share and see you guys. So for the questions, let me just, so the requirement next week is just to post your LinkedIn profile and to answer the 3 chapter assignments. I'm very conscious in making sure that Archie has enough time for her presentation. Let me just go back to seeing you guys. Where are you? Why am I not seeing you? Resume share, stop share. Okay, now I see you. So, given what we need to do next week, are there any questions? Just open your mic and speak up if you have questions or clarifications. All good? All good.
All good.
That's good to know. Of course, right now, since we have 2 weeks left, I'm sure you're itching to do your Facebook marketing campaign, right? Some of you, it may be good to start doing it now. Maybe do a part of it, so you'll have a... Oh, okay. First, the guideline. The guideline is, the only constraint I'm putting is your report should only cover a Facebook campaign where you spend a maximum of 1,000 pesos. Okay? So if you decide to spend 500, that's fine. But for your report of what was the result of the Facebook marketing campaign, it should be limited to 1,000 pesos maximum. Okay? And I recommend that you do it in a couple of phases. First, if I were to do it, maybe start with a 200 campaign, see how it goes. Once the 200 runs out, try to evaluate. Then maybe the next campaign is a 300, and the next campaign is a 500. Just so you have a comfortable level or with starting small. Okay. Again, a fair warning. I had one student who put in dollars. So instead of spending 1,000 pesos, it was $1,000 charged to his card, where we panicked like a month after the class ended, and we had to appeal to Facebook to reverse the charges. No? So just make sure that you're protected against it. If you want to put a card, a debit card, that might work better because it will only spend what's there. But there are a lot of controls where you can put and see how much you're spending. Okay. Now, the 1,000 is just, again, a limit so that we can see similar results from the class. But again, for some of you, if you're applying it to work and it's either you're willing to spend more or your company is willing to spend more, the only constraint is just report the 1,000 peso portion. Okay, so if you decide to spend 10,000, that's fine. You can have all the results for that. But just to be fair, so we can compare apples to apples, we'll consider the 1,000 peso portion of it. All right, or at the best 1,000 that you found. Okay, you might have several campaigns. Just and it's not, the success is not measured by, say, the number of impressions, the number of engagements. Sometimes success is measured by the failure of it. Meaning, sometimes I'd rather hear, 0 impressions, no purchase, and what did you learn about it? Okay, maybe sometimes there's more learning in that. So don't be frustrated or tempted to have as many conversions as you want. We just want you to experience it and learn from it this time so that you can apply the learnings for the future. As far as the format of the report is concerned, again, what will happen on the 8th meeting is we have basically 4 hours to do it. 4 hours is 240 minutes. Take away 20 minutes of break. That's 220 minutes available for the class. I think I mentioned how long was the video requirement. Was it 3 or 5? 3 minutes. Okay. So there are 13 members of the class. So if we allow 3 minutes for the videos, what we'll do is to watch 3 minutes of 13 students. That's 39 minutes. Add another 3 minutes, or so it's 45 minutes of viewing time just to see all the videos. Okay. So 220 minus 45, that's 175. Okay. Once we watch the videos, what we'll do is silent voting, anonymous voting will allow the class to vote on the top 5, which is interesting to discuss. I'll have my vote as well. I'll not disclose to you the percentage of how much the class votes are versus my percentage, but it's a cumulative number. The objective is the top 5 will allow an additional 15 minutes of discussion to show their full presentation. Okay. Now, the basis of the choices will not just be the quality of the presentation, but also more from my side, how much will we learn from knowing the details of the presentation. So again, sometimes I actually choose a failed presentation only because the learning is so much better watching a failed presentation than just all the successful ones. Also, I would also put some emphasis on having presentations on different industries. Okay, so it will be boring to see, just for the sake of argument, 5 presentations on cars, right? So I try to select the 5 ones that would, if we go into detail, will provide the most learning for this class depending on your different backgrounds. All right, so that's basically, and also aside from the Facebook marketing plan presentations, we'll have a discussion on what you learned doing it. All of this, just to guide you, just to reassure you, I'll try to put a template or guide on what should be in it before you make it into a presentation. But even without that, the thing to do is, okay, what do I want to achieve in my plan? Where am I now as far as fans, as far as engagements? You have to establish where you are, what's the need, and what's your plan when you do your Facebook marketing campaign. Okay, and then after doing the campaign, what are the new numbers as far as fans, as far as engagements? Were you able to get a purchase? Were you able to get an inquiry, etc.? Okay, so nothing rocket science. It's all good. We just want you to have that experience doing a campaign. All right. The other thing I need to do is, and I will do, is remember my Excel file that I always share. I'll put in links there showing you previous marketing campaigns, which you can see to benchmark on, whether it's done in my class or just available on the web. Okay, so guys, don't be pressured into having a Movely video. It doesn't have to be Movely, and even if it's all Movely, it's not automatically the one that will be selected. So it's really a combination of content and structure. Although, again, what we saw earlier was excellent in both, no? But we want to put more emphasis on the content of it, and any structure we will consider as good. Okay. Any questions on the Facebook campaign? So if you want to do it now, you can do it, so that you'll have questions to ask by next week. But any questions or clarification so far? Okay. Very good to see that everything's clear. What else? What else should we do? Okay, so what to watch out for are the links on the file that I will upload later tonight, to see the links to some sample Facebook marketing campaigns, some more materials which we used in the previous classes as reference. And that's it. No, we're on the last quarter of our. It's come so fast, right? We're almost finished with our 6th meeting. We'll have Archie up very, very soon. But it's quick. But I think for a lot of you, hopefully useful, no? So far. Okay. Last call for questions or clarifications.
I want to ask permission. I'll have to go to airport to pick a guest. They already arrived. If you allow me, can I leave?
Sure, Saul. You can go. You can watch Archie's presentation on video later if you have time. But yeah, thank you for asking permission, and please do.
Thank you very much, bro. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Saul.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Bye. Bye.
So,
Bye, Sol.
hi, Prof.
Yes, Peter.
Very quickly, with the LinkedIn post on Facebook, I think you mentioned something about the preview not showing anymore. Is that correct?
The picture, it used to show a picture. If you look at Primus Inter Pares, it used to show your profile picture on LinkedIn. It's now showing just a clip art or something. I don't know what changed, but it's not really important to me.
Okay.
A good test for you whether it's something that's useful is Google your name now, see what comes up. And then so once you have your LinkedIn profile and you actually invest in getting connections, getting recommendations, Google it some future time, and if it appears on the top of the page, not necessarily at the topmost, then it's actually serving you a purpose. It's your free contact call card, business call card on the web, right? But yes, Peter, were you wanting to comment on the what appears? So you're trying something? Okay. So
sorry, my connection just dropped for a bit there. I've already posted my LinkedIn on the Facebook group.
Okay.
But the preview didn't show up. But unfortunately, anyway, when I Google myself, I compete with a Canadian ice hockey player.
Okay. Yeah.
And
it will be good that one of these days you'll rank higher than him, no? And he'll be surprised. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I think we have enough time for Archie. Archie, we have to turn it over to you. Again, 20 minutes. If you have your timer up and if you can share your screen, you can start sharing.
Kind of hesitant to go next after Joe, but yeah, I'll take a stab at it.
That's your fate.
Let me just go there. Share. There you go. So I'll put on my timer. So I'll be covering chapter 8. Oh, by the way, good afternoon, everybody. I'll be covering chapter 8, human-centric marketing for brand attraction. So in here, we will be more into building authentic brands as friends. And one of the things that I've learned from the book when I went through it is that how we can make or humanize brands to make it more relatable to the customers. So there's 3 things that stand out when I was going through it. First one is we need the brands to be approachable, meaning it's less intimidating and a lot easier or makes our customers or potential customers be curious and interested and attracted to it. Second one is you need to be likable, meaning when you say likable, you need to be authentic. You got to be honest about the brand. Don't talk about something that you are not. And the last one would be make it vulnerable. And when you say vulnerable, don't pretend that you are perfect and don't try to achieve that you are. And by doing this, the brand makes it more, as I said earlier, humanized, in making it more relatable to the customers. As we go through my presentation, Prof. and classmates, I'll be showing a few videos to help me out with my presentation tonight. So the first one, we'll go to the next. how do I minimize this? There. Human-centric marketing, well, it says there, a key in building brand attraction in digital era. And as brands with human character will be agreeably be your most differentiator. So there's a lot of products out there. And for myself, I'm trying to build actually a profile for my sister-in-law. And with my study, I found out that there's a whole bunch of them out there. So I'm jumping into a red ocean market, and hopefully whatever I learned from digital marketing, something I could apply to make that to make the business a little bit more successful, I could say. Now, going through the module, what does it mean to be in the to be human in the digital world? Now, in this age, we are very dependent on technology. There are some that released like Samsung and Apple, where your entire house is even connected. With the touch of a button, you can turn on the air conditioning, you can turn on the TV, you can adjust the thermostat, you can lock the door. And these things were not even perceived 10 years, 15 years back to be something that can be a reality. Or when you talk about it, people would think that it's not possible. But then again, it has arrived and it's here. And with this poses a question, what does it mean to be human in the digital world? Now, I'll play a few videos. And this is the first one I got from YouTube. And let me know if you're able to hear it.
It's clear.
Thank you.
I think the notion of humans first in a digital world is a spot-on, very, very timely theme for all of us that are walking the halls of technology today.
85% of people think that brands can make the world better. And to go further, 84% of people think that brands have a greater ability to create positive change than the government does. This should be the new construct that we all think about. Number one, understanding humans very deeply. Number two, understanding the role we can play in humans' lives. And finally, and in concert with that, understanding the role technology plays to earn that role back into those human beings' lives.
I think it's critical to leverage the power of the technology, whether it's AI, whether it's voice, chatbots, you name it. But we need to connect. The old-fashioned principle of connecting with consumers in a meaningful, authentic, human way is more important than ever.
41% of people actually think that technology is making us sick. 44% say that mobile devices have distracted us from what matters most in life.
MasterCard stood up and said no. If you have a pulse, you can come in, and all you have to do is put your hand on this box, and it can see that you're a person.
Our challenge is to really think about the basics of human need, curiosity, desire, intent, and figure out how the technology marries into that.
So I do hope that you enjoyed that video. What it's just merely saying is that despite the advantages in technology, we have to still maintain a certain core in terms of marketing. We need to definitely understand our customers, and our brands need to be able to understand the wants and the needs of our customers to be successful. Now, one of the things that is highlighted in the book, and it talks a lot about the digital anthropology. Now, I'm showing you another video, this one, on tackling this. There. Oh, no, not this one, sorry. Sorry. I get lost, not that. Sorry, let me look for it. Here. And let's make this bigger.
Digital anthropology is the anthropological study of the relationship between humans and digital era technology. The field is new, and thus has a variety of names with a variety of emphases. These include techno-anthropology, digital ethnography, cyber anthropology, and virtual anthropology. Digital technology uses binary codes of 0 seconds and 1 second to relay messages between machines. Most anthropologists who use the phrase digital anthropology are specifically referring to online and internet technology. The study of humans' relationship to a broader range of technology may fall under other subfields of anthropological study, such as cyborg anthropology. The Digital Anthropology Group, DANG, is classified as an interest group in the American Anthropological Association. DANG's mission includes promoting the use of digital technology as a tool of anthropological research, encouraging anthropologists to share research using digital platforms, and outlining ways for anthropologists to study digital communities. Cyberspace itself can serve as a field site for anthropologists, allowing the observation, analysis, and interpretation of the sociocultural phenomena springing up and taking place in any interactive space. National and transnational communities, enabled by digital technology, establish a set of social norms, practices, traditions, storied history and associated collective memory, migration periods, internal and external conflicts, potentially subconscious language features and mimetic dialects comparable to those of traditional, geographically confined communities. This includes the various communities built around free and open source software, online platforms such as 4chan and Reddit and their respective subsites, and politically motivated groups like Anonymous, WikiLeaks, or the Occupy movement. A number of academic anthropologists have conducted traditional ethnographies of virtual worlds, the most prominent being Bonnie Noddy's study of World of Warcraft, and Gunville Storr's study of Second Life. Academic Gabriella Coleman has done ethnographic work on the Debian software community and the Anonymous Hacktivist Network. Anthropological research can help designers adapt and improve technology. Australian anthropologist Genevieve Bell did extensive user experience research at Intel, which informed the company's approach to its technology, its users, and its market. Online fieldwork offers new ethical challenges. According to the AAA's ethics guidelines, anthropologists researching a community must make sure that all members of that community know they are being studied and have access to data the anthropologist produces. However, many online communities' interactions are publicly available for anyone to read, and may be preserved online for years. Digital anthropologists debate the extent to which lurking in online communities and sifting through public archives is ethical. The AAA also asserts that anthropologists' ability to collect and store data at all is a privilege, and researchers have an ethical duty to store digital data responsibly. This means protecting the identity of participants, sharing data with other anthropologists, and making backup copies of all data.
So with this, the gist of it is just telling us that digital anthropology is something that's out there. There are 3 things that we will cover in the next couple of slides. Would help us understand this better. But the thing that strikes me with this video when I first listened to it is that we need to be careful in terms of privacy and data and data protection and privacy. So there are some stuff there that was mentioned earlier that we need to ask for permission. We need to make sure that the subject of our study is actually amenable to be part of the study and that their information can be shared and they're okay with it. Now, understanding humans using digital anthropology, there's 6 things here that I took note of. Number 1 is we need to find a connection between humanity and digital technology. Now, this is a key aspect for us to be able to be successful in this field. Another thing is we need to be able to understand, or the digital anthropology covers how humans interact with the devices, or be it a laptop, be it a mobile that they use. And in terms of their behavior, in terms of using that technology, do they give up? If they can't go, let's say they're looking for a brand, they wanted to buy something and they was very hard for them to go through the interface and they just give up. How the technologies are being used as a leverage, as a tool for us to be able to put our brand out there. And of course, how people, this is also where we can find out how people see or our customers see or perceive the brand that we have put out there. And lastly, the digital anthropology would help us figure out what is it that the customer wanted, what attracts them to a certain brand. With this, there are several well-known methods that was used by marketers, and the first one would be our social listening. Now, in social listening, this is the proactive approach in monitoring, let's say, discussion boards, Twitter, Facebook. This is where our customers actually freely speak about a certain brand. Now, it says here, big data analytics are often used for purpose of social listening. And however, the main component for social listening is you need to have the social listening software. Now, I did have a list of the 20 best softwares out there, just to show you that it's available. And if you want or you're interested with it, you can search it. These are a few of the social softwares that's out there that's being used by companies. And I know this for a fact because I've seen this when I was with Dell before. And that would also where my Coslo would be revolving around, because I'm quite new to concentrics and I've not seen this yet. But in Dell, I did, and will show you a few of the things that Dell has put together. Now, this is a good tool for marketers to find out if the product they have out there is working well, and if there need to be changes to it or tweak, or there would be some flaws to it. Even though we spend time in terms of studying and in terms of researching, even though you put all this effort in there, you wouldn't really know if the product will really work until it's out there. And you will be able to find out about that when you monitor the conversations around the product that you just released. Now, it also can be a good tool for you to be able to identify what the customers wants out there by just listening or just looking after or watching Twitter, Facebook, and other social networking such as Instagram and so on. And lastly, for this is what I'm very familiar with. This is often used to monitor complaints and negative sentiments of the customers. So some customers will call into the queue. They don't get what they want, or they weren't attended to in a manner that they find acceptable. They would post some comments in Facebook, and they will catch this by using the software and be able to address it and help out ESAT that whatever wrinkle happened when they called into the post-purchase engagement when they called Dell at the time. So that's the first one, social listening. Next one is netnography. This is by Robert Kosinets, and this would be my last video that I would show.
My name is Robert Kosinets, and I've been at the Annenberg School since 2016. I founded a technique called netnography in 1995, which is an adaptation of the anthropological technique of ethnography, which is participant observation, but it's applied online to social media, to the communications and the connections that people form online with one another. Big data tends to look at conversations online in a statistical way and a decontextualized way so that you can be more precise. Netnography tends to dive deeper into the context behind the individual conversations, postings, interactions, and experiences. It kind of is more focused on meaning than on precision. I don't necessarily just want to know what a tweet says or how many people tweeted with a particular hashtag. I want to know who tweeted with that hashtag and exactly how they tweeted. So I'm really much more interested in telling a whole story. And I developed this technique into a way to study consumers as a marketing research method initially, and it's become a wider method adopted across the social sciences for understanding the kinds of cultures and communities, the gatherings, the interactions and experiences that people have online. my research since about 2003 has been really focusing on how consumers play with the stories that they're told about products and services, then go online and create their own storytelling worlds. One of the early research sites that I studied was online coffee culture, a group called alt.coffee. One of the things that I was really interested in was how people were teaching each other about coffee and what they said about coffee. And there, hundreds of people got online and discussed their coffee tastes, their coffee equipment, coffee making. And what I quickly found out was there was this incredibly complex vocabulary that people had figured out of describing exactly what the perfect shot of espresso was like. They used words like astringent and a taste of bitterness. They were very attuned to aftertastes. Even the timing of tastes was described. From that, I really got a sense of just how much can be communicated and just how strongly taste can be challenged and created through these online conversations. Online was a place where people were going to learn and other people were clearly influencing their taste. If you find the lead user and follow their tastes, it tells you about where the taste of the mainstream might be going. As I started to move beyond coffee culture, it was true in fashion, it was true in sports, it was true in entertainment. Now, if you're in marketing, if you're in PR, if you want to understand brands and branding, this kind of a holistic contextualized understanding is incredibly valuable.
So what that is that tells us, it just tells us that we need to pay close attention to the details and not just take everything at face value. Now, what's the difference between ethnography and social listening? Primarily in ethnography, you need to be able to actively participate in the communities, and you need to pay attention to the details of what the people are saying within that community. So that means the online community, the groups out there. The last one would be the empathic research. This one would require person's observation. So you need to brainstorm, you need to collab with other people, and you do this through your research and through your community members. With this, you need to be able to come up to a common tool or a common web page where people will throw in ideas and together will come up with finding. So it would be just not one person pitching in, but everybody actually sharing their insights. So I got 30 seconds. I'll fast track this. This is a screenshot of a few things that I was mentioning earlier that Dell has put together. So rock stars pretty much are engagement of people from Dell to work on questions posted by customers. The one below would be discussion forums by customers. They would have questions about the equipment that they purchased. SMAC governance, this is the group of people that's actually monitoring Facebook, Twitter, and any other social networking out there. If there's anything that's red flag to them, they address. And they also have the Salesforce, and they provide all these other options from YouTube to LinkedIn, and even a phone number to call. And I'm down to my last slide. Now, when we do build the human-centric brand, there's 6 attributes. So you need to be, physicality is pretty much how it looks. Intellectuality is just a substance, pretty much. Social ability would be if you're able to communicate well, if you're emotionally connected to your customers. Personability would be an example I cited. There is Domino's saying that they're not the best pizza out there, which is true, and that's your self-awareness. And lastly would be being ethical and having strong integrity. So I don't know, Prof, if we still have time, maybe 30 seconds.
Oh, we can do it. 30 seconds, guys.
Right.
Mentimeter?
Yes, sir. So just go to menti.com. Yeah.
Or if you downloaded Mentimeter, can we get that?
I think you need to go to the website in itself. Mentimeter would make you create the questionnaires in your presentations. So I'm stealing this from Anne. Thank you very much, Anne. And then I realized from
Oh,
last
yeah,
time.
you can go to Mentimeter with that code. I'm in there right now.
Sorry, what's the code again, Archie?
Let me show it again.
It works in Mentimeter.
863557.
I'm on it.
All right. And where did I put it? Can't find it anymore. I logged in. So there are 2 questions in there, and I'm trying to get there. I'm sorry. It's taking a little bit longer. It should be here.
That's Murphy's Law at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was going well until it doesn't anymore. Okay. Yeah. So I'll show.
So it's not working on the phone.
It wasn't? Oh, that's sad.
So anyway, Archie, I think the learning here is, this is what I saw on the first phone. And then it didn't refresh to the next slide. But the nice thing, just cutting into your presentation, yes, you can use this real time online, but just in case it bogs down, it's nice to have it in the slide, right? If you go back, okay, not everybody has a digital connection that's fast enough, but it's in the slide, then you have a real brick and mortar backup. But that's fine. So can you just answer the 2 questions for us, Archie? The first question is?
So the first question we have would be human technology, or typo. Anthropology focuses on the connection between humanity and digital technology. Okay. That's a yes.
Okay.
Pretty much that's what the Nexus is talking about, or what slide was talking about earlier. And the last one is it's talking about the 6 things that was the latter part of my presentation: the physicality, the emotionality, and so on and so on. And everybody got it right. So that I have 11 people who got it right. For the first question, we got probably around 3 that did not get it right. So it's good learning though for everybody. And that sums up my presentation for today, sir.
Okay. Archie, can you go back a couple of slides just for me to quick? Okay. Sorry. Can you? The Dell slide. The Dell slide.
Yes.
Okay. First, before I comment, again, thanks Archie, Gibo, Peter, Joe for very good presentations today. Again, it's a challenge to the last 4. You know what your customers are used to. Okay, so
good luck to us.
we are more demanding next week. Plus, next week you'll also be competing with 3 resource speakers who are experts in their field. No, so I don't envy your task, but if you perform well, then you really stand out. No? So anyway, again, who are the 4 next week? You know yourselves. I don't have the list in front of me, but again, just prepare your COSLAs, and you know what works and what doesn't. Archie was saying earlier that, I am coming after Joe. Maybe a challenge, but the thing to learn from Archie's presentation is sometimes, let's just segue a bit. Forgive me a bit. I always use this analogy. For those of you who watch Doctor Strange, the movie, if you watch the movie, one of the more significant, memorable lines about it was when the wizard, the lady wizard, was dying, and she said, what was the most important thing that you learned in the world before she died? Do you recall the answer? Does anybody recall the answer? What's the most important lesson in life? Well, it's worth remembering, guys. The lesson she found after living thousands of years and watching all that can happen in the world, the lesson is, it's not about you. Okay? It's not about you. It's never about you. And I remember this point because Archie and some of you also have done. You didn't come as yourself. You brought in experts. Like she had 3 videos of experts who backed up or what put more substance to what she said. No, so it's never. And if I go to Jo actually didn't create those ideas. She just put it in a more customer friendly way that people will understand and appreciate. But it's Cutler's idea, so it's not about you. You can be a very great resource speaker, but it didn't have to be your original ideas. It's you translating those ideas to something that's relevant to your audience. Okay, so it's not about you. Okay, just on this, what's significant about this is there's a portion where there's a discussion forum. That's a pretty common feature, especially for those products which are technical, where there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Now, you can let the discussion happen anywhere in the web where you have absolutely no control, or you can try to push so that it goes into a forum where you have experts from your end who can answer the questions correctly, and therefore serving the customers well and preventing runaway complaints or bad reviews. No? So it's always good to try to control the conversation, but despite your efforts, there's a lot of conversation that will happen in your back. So can I just request Archie just go back a couple of slides? That's why you need to do social listening. Okay, that's why you have to be aware that it's not just your marketing spend, it's not just your videos or your brand activities that will communicate. There's a lot of talk behind your back that if it's a big enough brand, there's a lot of people talking about it, and if you're not hearing what they say, then you won't be able to react correctly. So listening to this conversation, I was thinking of a word, Filipino word that will be close to this. It's listening to chismis, right? Listening to whether it's true or not, what people say about you or about your brand is what is true to them. So unless you are able to listen to that, participate in the conversation, then that basically is beyond your control. But at least being able to listen, respond, put corresponding action that allows you to have some degree of control to the conversations in social media. Okay, so as you know, what they call fake news or deliberate campaigns to influence the social media have been done and have been successful in electing presidents, not just here but abroad as well, right? That's how powerful the discussions can be, and that's also how easy, if you have the right understanding of how it works, how easy it is to manipulate it to your own interests. Okay, so I'll not extend the class a bit more. I think we've learned a lot for today, and again, I'd like to extend my appreciation to the class for being very professional about how we're doing it. If you find the class enriching, it's because of the quality of the inputs of everyone. So while we gave Joe our applause earlier, I think everybody in this class deserves an applause. We've done a very good job so far, and it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about everything that we put together. Okay, I'm pretty proud of how we're doing so far, and I'm just so excited to see your Facebook marketing campaigns and your LinkedIn profiles. No? So is there any questions for the next 2 meetings? None? If there's none, we extended a bit, but I think it was worth the extension. So guys, thank you. See you next week. Bye.
Thank you, Prof.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.